Hello, I'm Connie Vandeman Jeffrey. This edition of All God's People marks 1 full year since we began experimenting and producing these programs. It's a privilege for us to bring these stories to you each week. Since 2008, the Center for Youth Evangelism at Andrews University has hosted the 180-degree Symposium to address current issues in Adventist youth ministries. For the very first time, this year's symposium was held away from Andrews University at La Sierra University, where the John Hancock Center for Youth and Family Ministry has provided visionary leadership for the church since 1991. The discussion focus for this year was Reach Out, Relevant Youth Evangelism. It brought together youth ministry professionals, pastors, students, and academics to discuss research, trends, and best practices for youth ministry and youth evangelism. The Pacific Union was proud to share in the hospitality and hosting of the symposium, and our All God's People crew had the opportunity to speak with some of the youth leaders from here in the West about why this meeting is important.
The reason why it's important that we're looking at youth and young adult evangelism is because what we've done in the past isn't working in today's culture. And so we're trying to get the brightest minds of our church together to look at, okay, what used to work? How would that impact our today's life? And how can we make it more relevant so that young people will want to engage with the church and be a part of this movement?
I think the conversation should be about the hard things, the things that the church usually doesn't talk about, because as a youth, as a collegiate, and from the years before in high school, I would have these questions and I would want to ask the church, but it wasn't very much answered. And I believe that we will find the answer somewhere else in some other capacity, and I think the church should address those questions and to somewhat show us what our belief believes and what we believe in and things like that. So the hard conversations, the hard questions.
But nobody wants to be somebody's project. So we need to get away from that entirely. We need to get away from being content driven. We need to get away from being program driven. We need to get into actually connecting with people, entering their world. Instead of asking them to come, we need to go where they are. We need to be with them.
I would say one of the biggest challenges facing local youth ministries is identifying that our young people have an active part to play in the sharing of the gospel. Their communities are so much larger a lot of times than ours. They are dealing with things that we've never even thought about. They are have the ability, a lot of energy, a lot of time, a lot of networking, access to media that we don't, or that's maybe a little bit unfamiliar to us. But in order to be able to branch into those worlds, we need to invest in them and those areas that they're really connected in.
I do youth and young adult ministry because I love how that mind is very fertile. We're talking in the symposium about fertile soil, and I feel like the mind, the body, the energy, kind of our whole holistic thinking, everything is ripe to really receive the gospel and to make it live.
Working with children specifically, or youth specifically, is being able to tap into the generations of tomorrow. I am only here for a little while, but who will take care of this place that God has given us to be stewards of? And that is our children, and that is our youth. So investing into them is investing into ourselves and investing into our world for tomorrow. And there's such a beautiful value here for that.
The work being done by these women and men will shape our church for many, many years to come. Effective ministry engages every believer in every gift. Each one of us have a personal experience that can be used by our Lord to bring hope and salvation to others. Jesus said, "A new command I give you, love one another. As I have loved you, so you must love one another. By this, everyone will know that you are my disciples, if you love one another." With these words, Jesus summarized the way in which the actions of all God's people will be viewed by the world around us. And as we minister in this work in His name, Jesus will surely bless us. Thanks so much for joining us. For All God's People, I'm Connie Jeffrey.